Yep. Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I don't know if I've met you, PD. Judd?
No, we haven't met before, Your Honor. I'm normally in Judge Patsy Porter's courtroom. I just have a couple clients before you today.
Gotcha, okay. I always, when I see new people, I at least want to say hello, but I shouldn't say welcome aboard because you're not new. Gotcha.
Correct. Yes, Your Honor.
Gotcha. Good morning, Mr. Walker.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I would like to court you know that we do have a couple new attorneys, ASG Stafford, ASG James, and then we have Ms. Chung that will be practicing under the Third Year Practice Act. So I have a new team today.
I see. You're breaking them all in. I think I may have met the third year. I think, hi, good morning. I think, Deputy Falk introduced me. Welcome aboard. We're gonna get started in a minute.
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Whenever you're ready to start, we're going to start with position 23, Mr. Monet.
Okay. Do I have to have this one on? Yes, I don't.
The mic,
I
think you do.
do. I can hear a little bit of an echo.
I'll do them next.
Do you all hear an echo from me?
I'll do them next.
No?
Can you see a 3-card Norris? Okay, I'll go ahead and do yours next. Okay. You're welcome.
The Zoom screen.
And then, who was the other guy? Cruz and then Glover.
It's him. I can't get my email up now.
Ready? Are you, give me a sec. You ready?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to start our state all-purpose calendar for Thursday. This is not Thursday, I apologize, for Tuesday, June the 20th, 2023. Going to start with position 23. Is this still a negotiated plea?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Thank you.
I have 23 CR 003672Y. Frankie Lamar, is it Monet or
Monet.
Monet, charged with 1 count of battery. That offense date is June 5th, 2023. State.
The state is offering 12 months to serve, 24 days, credit for time served, 12 days, balance on probation, 6 weeks, anger management, and no further contact with the victim.
All right.
The victim name.
Can you tell us the victim's name, please?
Just a minute.
Okay.
The victim's name is Jody Johnson.
Jody Johnson.
Yes, that's spelled Jody Johnson.
All right. And Mr. Who is that, McLean?
Yes.
Is that your understanding of the plea offer?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, if we're ready to take the plea, do you stipulate?
We stipulate the venue, identification and factual basis, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Monet, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions in order to accept your guilty plea and to make sure that it is free and voluntarily taken or voluntarily entered into, should I say. Hold on one second. First question I have for you is, are you currently under the influence of any medication, drugs, alcohol, or any other influences at this time?
No.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
You gotta
You
speak up.
understand that you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes. No.
And do you understand that you're giving up and waiving the right to a trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you the result of this hearing? Has anybody guaranteed to you or promised you what will happen today as opposed to what is recommended? We'll try to break that question down into two parts, Your Honor.
Okay. Has
He
anyone
knows
promised
this
you any,
recommendation.
has anyone promised you any special treatment in order to plead guilty today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and have they told you that you would get any special treatment if you pled guilty today?
No, ma'am.
All right, and do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected by your guilty plea today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and do you offer this guilty plea freely and, okay, do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
No, she just asked you freely and voluntarily plead guilty.
No, ma'am.
And no,
Have you been coerced or forced by anyone to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and so you're doing this on your own accord with a full understanding, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and so do you understand the conditions that you're getting credit for time served, 24 days, credit for time served, 12 days? The balance will be probated, and you have to take a 6-week anger management course, and you're to have no further contact with the victim, Jody Johnson. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and as long as you do that, take that course for 6 weeks, it's quite a while, and stay away from Jody Johnson, you won't end up back down here at the Fulton County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
now, is this your emergency contact?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
It's 4.
Next, we have positions 7 through 9, Mr. Cruz, and that's Ms. McLeod's case, and she's actually here.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Okay, they had it spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Hold on, Ms. McLeod.
Sorry.
McLean, you have to, yeah, you need to give her a chair. She needs to sit in this chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very good.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Do you
Good
need
morning.
plea paper?
Oh, I'm not used to seeing you down there, Ms. McLeod.
I come down there every now and again.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Judge. How are you?
Good, okay. I was looking for you on the screen and I was looking around. All right, this is 22 CR 007899Y, Antonio Cruz. We also have 20 CR 00456070, 60Y, I'm sorry. And position 9 is 21 CR 006094Y. So we have 3 cases, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. There are four of them, I believe.
You said there are four or?
Four.
I've got 7899Y, 4560Y, and 6094Y. Is there another one?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is? Uh-oh. Let's see, I only have three.
Okay, I
7899.
guess they took off one of them.
Let's double check.
Okay.
Oh, the other one says 789 and 10. But 10 is a different person, I think. Hold on a second, my litigation manager's checking too. I want to make sure before we get started.
Ms. McLeod, by any chance, the case number or the,
Said, do you by chance have that other case number?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you by chance have that other case number?
I don't,
No.
'cause I couldn't bring,
because I'm only seeing 3 cases.
Stay. ASG Stafford, this is your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
How many
And
cases do you have? 3 or 4?
3, Your Honor.
You have 3?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state has made an offer on 2 of its outstanding cases, but they have not made an offer on the third one. I have discussed the state's offer with my client and he rejects the offers. He wants his cases to go to trial.
All right.
So I would like for his cases, the 3 outstanding cases, to be placed on the next available to retrial calendar.
All right. Does he need to be arraigned?
He has been arraigned before, Your Honor.
He's already been arraigned. Okay. All right. If you've already been arraigned, I will accept your not guilty plea. And your cases will be further noticed for trial by the division judge. And you obviously will have the right to a jury trial or a bench trial, whichever you're choosing. And you've been properly noticed and further noticed for trial. Okay, Mr. Cruz, Antonio Cruz.
Yes, ma'am.
Your cases will be further noticed for trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 14, Glover.
All right. This is 23 CR 001426E, Michael Glover, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. And is this going to be a plea, Ms. McLeod?
No, Your Honor, it is not.
Has the defendant already been arraigned?
He has been arraigned, Your Honor, and he would like his case placed on the earliest available trial calendar.
Okay. All right, Mr. Glover, you've been formally arraigned already. Your case for the simple battery family violence will be placed on the next available trial calendar with the division judge, and you're going to be further noticed for trial. All right. We will accept your not guilty plea.
Your Honor, my client also has a bond. It's a $5,000 cash bond, and we were hoping, he's been in jail now for 78 days, and we were hoping that the court would consider modifying his bond, Your Honor.
Do you have the history state or pre-trial or anyone have his criminal history?
Yes, Your Honor. From my understanding, Mr. Glover has 30 total cycles, with the earliest being 1992. Simple battery, 2018, simple assault, 2018, those are both arrests. Marijuana charges in 1996 and 1992, arrests for ag assault and battery is in 2008, ag assault is in 2011. This particular incident happened on November 15, 2022, at 2475 Scott Ridge Drive, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers responded to the dispute at that location, and upon arrival, the victim, Ms. Aaliyah Thompson, stated that her and her husband, Mr. Glover, got into a verbal altercation where he assaulted her. Ms. Thompson stated that she was laying in bed when Mr. Glover got upset about whether or not she was going to cook dinner, and her daughter being at the home, and him not being able to walk around the house as he pleased. She stated that that is what led to the argument between them, and he picked up a shoe and hit her across the face with it. At that time, she stated that he also left the residence with 2 firearms. She stated that shortly after he left, he returned to the residence and kicked the front door in. There were no visible injuries to Ms. Thompson. However, as it has been stated that Mr. Glover is currently on bond for a $5,000 cash bond. And as such, due to his history of arrests for violent offenses, we ask that this bond do stay in place, Your Honor.
And do you have the date of, well, we know that it's been 78 days.
Yes,
And
Your Honor, it has been 78 days. I've actually spoken with the alleged victim. I did send her the link so she could be on, because she has been in contact with me a lot, and she has explained to me how much she needs to have her husband out with her and the hardship that she and her family have been going through since his arrest. I don't know if she was able to come on, Your Honor, because when I tried to call her this morning, I think she may have been sleeping, but I spoke to her as recently as yesterday, and she has indicated that it is a huge hardship for her not having her husband home. And considering that he has been in jail now for 78 days, Your Honor, this is simply punitive. The state is actually offering a time-served plea at this moment, conditioned on him not having any further contact with his own wife and staying away from his own home. That's one of the reasons, apart from the fact that he's not guilty, that he is not accepting the state's plea offer, because it is totally unreasonable to say to someone who is married that they should have no further contact with their own spouse.
well, it's not about having contact with his own wife. If the contact is going to be allegedly negative or conflicting, then there's a reason for that. And so his history is not very good at all. So I do see why the bond is set the way it is. And I see that Mr. Walker's on for the state for further arguments. And so let me hear from them before I make a decision on whether I'm going to amend the bond or not. I'm not moved by the fact that it's his wife. I'm moved by the fact of his history and what the allegations are as to whether or not that bond could be lowered or changed or not. Mr. Walker.
So, Your Honor, this defendant is also being held on an aggravated assault 22 SC 180746. And that's a no bond with the same exact victim. So that's the reason why a cash bond was given in this case. And also that's the reason why he's still in jail. So this really is a moot point. There is a no bond. He cannot have contact with his wife. This is a secondary case.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
all.
Walker. It's very important information. And so, Ms. McLeod, that is important information for me to hear, which leads me to my ruling that I'm going to leave the bond at the $5,000 cash bond, all the same conditions, and mainly because of the other cases, no further contact with the victim of the attempts, his wife. So I feel that we need to obviously protect the victim in this case. So I'm going to leave the bond at the $5,000 cash bond.
Thank you.
Positions 4 and 5, Charlie.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
we will be requesting a breakout room. I was unable to speak with Mr. Charlie yesterday. I would request a breakout room with 4 North and my laptop at PD Angela Dotis.
Okay. Did you hear that, Deputy?
I did.
I'm not for sure how we can do that. You tell us what we can do or not.
Your Honor, I have another case on the calendar, but I wanted to ask the court's permission to leave and to come back in because I have to be in Fulton County State Court at 10 o'clock, but I will log back on. He's in a different area of the jail.
Okay.
I can't deal with it now, so may I be excused for the time being?
Yes, yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes.
this is Will Kelbaugh. I'm a conflict attorney. I have one case, James Williams, position 41. I also have court in Fulton County State Court at 9:30 and 10 o'clock. May I jump off the Zoom momentarily to report to Judge Richardson's 9:30 calendar?
Okay. And then come back and see if we can have position 41, James Williams, when Mr. Kellogg comes back, so we could maybe do his one case and let him attend the other court's deputies if we can.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, he's on 5 North. I'm on 4 North, and I have 6 people waiting on 4 North, so it'll be a while before I make it to 5 North.
Okay,
Thank
go ahead, Mr. Kellogg. We'll see you when you come back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know what case you don't.
I don't know, maybe we're breakout. And Your Honor, just to check in, is someone going to be putting us in a breakout room with 4 North or my laptop?
Williams.
Let's see if the deputy's able to do that.
Miss Champion or whoever is hosting, I think should be able to do it.
Miss Grace.
Yes, I'm waiting on the deputy, like the judge said.
Oh, understood. Thank you, Miss Grace.
This is gonna be position 43, Williams.
Okay. This a plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I was on the phone with another client.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what position is this?
43, Ricky
43.
Williams.
Okay.
Very simply, Your Honor, the offer the state has given us is 15 days time served, and he would like to stipulate to factual basis, venue, and identification, and ask the court to accept that negotiated plea.
All right. This is 23 CR 003605C, Ricky Williams, being charged with 1 count of certain acts on a bus or rail station prohibited, and a 2nd count of criminal trespass. June 5th, 2023 is the offense date. Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is 15 days time served, balance suspended.
All right. Is that your understanding, Mr. McLean?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, I will get ready to take that plea. Mr. Williams, is my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to both charges. Is that correct?
Gotta speak up.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand so I can swear you in order to take some testimony from you before accepting your plea, okay? Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, and so let me ask you this, and Mr. McLean, do you stipulate?
We do.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Williams, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No.
All right, and are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yeah.
All right, and do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yeah.
Do you understand that you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yeah.
And that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yeah.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yeah.
All right, has anyone told you you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked because of your guilty plea here today?
Yeah.
You can put your hand down. Do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yeah.
So as to the charge of certain acts on a bus or rail, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea to both charges. So you're getting a time served sentence. And so I don't know if there are any other conditions. I didn't hear any.
There's not.
None.
All right, no, there are no other conditions, so you're free to go. Good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Are we still waiting on the breakout session here on 4 North?
Oh, we're still waiting on that.
Okay, I'll put them in now.
Yeah, let me mute myself for a second.
No, I mean, I'm going to a breakout on the 21, so I'll be done.
You still gonna go into them now?
Whatever you want to do. Hey, you want me to do them now? Should be quick.
Okay.
It's the boss.
Position 2, Billups.
All right, position 2.
Your Honor, Mr. Billups is also on the probation revocation for position 5. If we could handle that first, if the probation officer's on the line.
Probation is here.
Okay, let's see. And say that again. I heard, I didn't.
Probation is here.
Oh, probation, yes. I'm sorry. Hello, Officer Allison.
Hello.
I'm trying to get all my screens together here. Hold on a minute.
What's the apartment number?
This is Mr. Billups. Is that
Yes,
you?
Your Honor.
Okay, I have him on the state all-purpose calendar for 18 CR 004834C. Adante Billups, 1 count of simple battery. Offense date June 17, 2017. And then on the probation revocation calendar, 18 CR 001921E, Adante Billups, failure to obey signs of control devices and driving while license suspended. And that offense date is February the 5th, 2018. And so what are we going to do today?
If Officer Allison would like to share probation's recommendation, that is what we'd agree with and go forward. And then I believe for position Two, it will be a negotiated plea.
For probation, he had 3 months and 16 days left. We was doing time served. He just failed to do a defensive driving course, and then he wasn't reporting.
He's not reporting.
No,
Okay. Never reported at all, or just the first time and that was it?
never reported at all.
Oh, okay. And what's your recommendation?
Time served.
Time served?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask for this court to accept probation's recommendation and close out this probation case. While Mr. Billups recognizes that he didn't live up to his side of the bargain moving forward regarding his other case, he has all the information necessary to be successful. So we would just ask this court to close this matter.
Okay. All right. So since probation's recommendation is for time served, I will agree to honor that with time served. We will close this matter. And what else do we need to take up today?
And Mr. Billups is also here on position 2, which will be a negotiated plea.
Okay. All right, and the case ending in, 18 CR 004834C, 1 count of simple battery. It's my understanding, Mr. Billups, you wish to plead guilty to that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, swear you in before I'm able to accept your guilty plea. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. Mr. Dotis, do you stipulate, please?
Yes, Your Honor, we do stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the purpose of this plea.
All right, and so, Mr. Billups, let me ask you this. Are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked because of your guilty plea here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you understand that the conditions for this plea are 12 months to serve at 18 days, credit for time served at 9 days, balance probated, you're to take an 8-week anger management course and no further contact with the victim, and stay away from the incident location.
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, could we get the stay away location? I didn't receive the stay away location in the.
And I have rushed along a little too fast, and I certainly do not want to not give Ms. Chung her opportunity to speak. So state, please accept my apology. Go ahead and give us the specifics on those conditions and terms. Thank you.
No problem, Your Honor. You stated everything perfectly.
Give us- Go ahead.
The stay away location address that we have is 75 Peachtree Place, and the
Okay.
victim's name is Edmund Harrison.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Chung. And Your Honor, just the only thing we would add to that is this case is from June of 2017. So we would request that once Mr. Billups completes his 8 weeks of anger management, it switched to non-reporting status. And if Your Honor could waive a few months of his probation to help him get back on his feet after release.
I'm not going to be able to waive any of his probation fees, but I will allow him to go non-reporting once he has completed the conditions of the 8-week anger management course.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. There's nothing more that will conclude this case.
Thank you, Your
Uh-huh.
Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Dotis, we was waiting in the breakout session. You never did show us. I came out, timed out on me anyway.
I was taking a plea. I'm currently still in the breakout room. If you want to rejoin, or I can leave and we can do another one.
Who do we have next?
Good morning, Your Honor. If I may interject on behalf of positions 11, 12, and 13, Jaquadius Durham.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if he's been called yet.
No.
We received an offer late last night. I have not had the opportunity to relay that offer to Mr. Durham. I'm requesting just the briefest of resets so I can discuss that with him. And I'm also due in Douglas.
4 North. He's over here on 4 North. He's already out waiting as well.
So do you want to speak with him on 4 North today? Or you want it reset?
I'm asking for the briefest reset. I am due in Douglas County for substantive motions at 10 a.m.
Okay. What's your reset date? Hold on 1 second. Let me ask my litigation manager.
You can reset it to next Tuesday, the 27th.
Oh, we can reset it to next Tuesday, which is the 27th.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. We will see you on next Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to be excused.
Yes, you're excused. Thank you. So you heard that, Deputy. We reset Mr. Durham.
Yes, ma'am. He can hear he can hear you.
Okay, 11, 12, and 13, you're reset to 27. All right, who do we have next?
All right, Terry. I don't know if it's.
Lon, are we not able to do a breakout room anymore? What's going on?
I'm gonna go to position number 31 and 32. These are conflict. I'm not gonna keep waiting.
And I believe it's Miss McLeod's case.
Yes, is she back?
What position number are we on, Your Honor?
31, 32.
I don't know.
McLean, you ready? Hold on. Let me see this one.
31.
Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, are we on the case right now? I just walked away.
Oh, yeah, they were saying 31 and 32, Mr. Pinckney,
Mr. Pinckney.
I think, but I don't know because that's Miss McLeod's cases, but we may have to change. I don't know if she's back yet. She goes somewhere.
No, she had to step away and go to court. at
Right.
10 o'clock, and then she said she was gonna return back on the Zoom.
I got add-on position number 3, Mr. Owens.
That, and, yeah. Your Honor, I spoke with Attorney Howard for add-on 3. Mr. Owens should not be on this calendar, so we just asked for a reset to this Thursday's competency calendar, June 22nd, so that that can be addressed.
All right, do you have that, Ms. Champion? Hold on 1 second. Let my litigation manager double check. That's Mr. Keith Owens, position 3 add-on. ASG Walker.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Probably will have to go on next Thursdays, the 29th.
She says it'll probably have to go on the 29th. Can't get it on for this Thursday.
Understood, Your Honor. I'll let Attorney Howard know.
Okay, so that'll be June 29th.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that'll be June 29th.
This is gonna be positions 27 through 30, Mr. Perry.
27 through 30.
Here, hell, you all sign it twice on the bottom of this page. Right there, right there. I'll go with that. Hold on. I'm sorry.
What are we doing with these cases, please? What's the announcement?
These are negotiated, please, Your Honor.
Okay. I have Mr. Brian Perry, position 27, which is 21 CR 0000571J. Pleading guilty to 1 count of theft by shoplifting and driving while license suspended or revoked. Position 28 is 22 CR 00517Y. Charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Position 29, 23 FTA 00479. And then position 30 is 23 FTA 00480.
Yes, Your Honor, with a guilty plea on 27 and 28, 29 and 30 will be null pros.
Okay. Oh, I see that. All right. And let me go back then on position 27, state.
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends 12 months to serve 28 days. Credit for time served 14 days, balance on probation, stay away from the Chevron location and complete the anti-theft shoplifting. And
Give us the address, please.
the address for the Chevron is 2020 Bolton Road, Northwest.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, and for the next case, the recommendations are 12 months to serve, 28 days, credit for time service, 14 days, balance on probation, complete the family violence program, and no contact with the victim. The victim is Ashley Marshall, and to stay away from, oh, I'm sorry, wrong case.
Okay.
Checking. Okay, right. The victim is Ashley Marshall. And to stay away from, the incident took place at the defendant's home, so we don't have a stay away just no contact with the victim.
Okay. All right, Mr. Perry,
Ma'am.
I understand that you wish to plead guilty in 2 cases to 3 charges. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. McLean, do you stipulate?
We do.
All right. And in the first case, I have 1 count of theft by shoplifting and 1 count of driving while license suspended or revoked. How do you plead to those charges?
Guilty.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, put your hand down for me. Let me ask you this, on the first case ending in 571J or 0571J to the theft by shoplifting and driving while license suspended. And I need to ask you a series of questions in order to accept your plea. Are you currently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you are giving up the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared to agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you that you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you realize if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked or affected by this guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And as to the charge of theft by shoplifting, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to the charge of driving while license suspended or revoked, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of simple battery family violence, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, and so the conditions on the first 2 charges, theft by shoplifting and the driving while license suspended or revoked, that is credit for time served 14 days, and you're to stay away and balance probated. You're to stay away from the Chevron located on Bolton Road, and you're to complete an anti-theft shoplifting class. Are you clear about that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the second charge, is that the same location or a different location, Ms. James?
Are you referring to this driving with while suspended license?
No, the simple battery family violence, position 28.
That's a different location that took place at the defendant's home.
Okay. All right. I was trying to save a little time and take his plea on both. Both cases. That is a simple battery family violence ending in 5174Y. And it is your desire to plead guilty to the simple battery family violence. Is that correct, Mr. Perry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I will let the state tell you what the conditions are in the offer.
That's, Your Honor, 12 months to serve, 28 days, credit for time served 14 days, balance on probation, family violence program, no contact with the victim.
Okay. Do you have the victim's name?
Ashley Marshall.
You need to stay away. Oh, you got it. And what is that stay away location?
I did not have the stairway location because it took place at the defendant's apartment. The victim
Okay.
was coming to pick up her belongings.
Okay.
Oh, good. So this one is, you said 24 weeks.
All right, so Mr. Perry, I have gone over the conditions with you. You're able to take that FVIP, which is a Family Violence Intervention Program. I believe it is 24 weeks. No further contact with the victim and stay away in the, and there should be no stay away, correct? Because you said it was the defendant's location.
That's correct.
All right, just a no further contact with the victim in that case. Credit for time served, 14 days, balance probated, while you're completing the FVIP. You understand that, Mr. Perry?
Yes, ma'am.
So you enter that plea free and voluntarily, is that correct?
Which will be on probation. Excuse me? I'm sorry.
I said, so you entered the plea in this case as well freely and voluntarily, is that
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
JCS. This is the probation department. What?
Anything else?
I have position number 26 ready.
Hey,
26, okay.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Judge. Hey, Ms.
Yes.
Blunt, were you ready to do the breakout with Dotis?
No, Dota's gonna have to wait. I got position number 26 in the chair.
This is Raphael Penrice or Penrice.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Penrice.
Penrice, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
This is 23 CR 003704B. And you're representing him, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me ask the state if Mr. Penrice is still interested in it.
Okay.
Let me ask the state if they have any objection to a no-lo on this.
You hear that, Ms. James?
Yes, we're going to object and ask for a guilty on this.
And Mr. Penrice, does that affect your decision?
No, I'll take the guilty plea. I'll plead guilty.
Right. It would be up to the judge if you wanted to argue it, Mr. Penrice, but either way.
McLean, is he done?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. He's done.
All right, Mr. Penrice, I understand that you wish to plead guilty to 23 CR 003704B. This case has one count of criminal trespass, second count of possession and use of drug-related objects, and a third count, which is also criminal trespass. So 2 counts of criminal trespass, 1 of possession and use of drug-related objects. With the offense date of February the 8th, 2023. Do you still wish to plead guilty to all 3 charges?
I plead guilty to all 3 charges.
Okay. State, what are you offering?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is offering 12 months to serve, 264 days credit for time served, 132 days balance suspended, and to stay away from 150 10th Street Northeast. And the other location is 900, it's on the corner of 900 Piedmont Avenue Northeast and 900 Juniper Street Northeast.
All right. Is that your understanding, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. Mr. Penrice, you're on Zoom. I have your permission to sign your name for you on these questions. We went through the questions all about the police statement. Do I have your permission to sign your name?
Yeah, you got my permission.
And the guilty plea itself. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Penrice, are you ready to take your place, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down for me. Mr. McLean, do you so stipulate?
We do.
All right. Mr. Penrice, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions to make sure that your plea is free and voluntarily given. The first one being, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you, and are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked or affected by this guilty plea today?
I don't know how to answer that because I'm not on probation.
Okay, well then fine, it won't be affected. Do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand the conditions? You are to stay away from the 10th Street location and the Juniper and Piedmont location. You understand that while you're finishing out your balance is suspended, but you have to stay away. You can do that?
What's the Juniper?
It's on the corner, I think she said, of Piedmont and Juniper. It's 900 Juniper Street Northeast or Piedmont.
Should have been Juniper and 10th.
Or Juniper and 10th, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
You know the locations you need to stay away from, but we need to be clear with the assistant solicitor to make sure. Sometimes the address, depending on where the mailbox is on the one corner versus the other.
Right, let me check on that, Your Honor. It was a construction site. Let me check.
Oh, okay. So you understand wherever you were, Mr. Penrice, you are to stay away so that you don't get rearrested again. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, if I might point out while we're on a bit of a buzz, there are 2 counts of criminal trespass that I saw. Both counts of criminal trespass consisted of damaging a door. The phrasing was slightly different. One said intentionally damaging it, and the other said causing damage, something about interfering with the use.
There's no objection to letting them merge into one count.
Right, I would think so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
And Your Honor, I'm looking here and we're showing that the address was 900 Piedmont Avenue and 900 Juniper Street Northeast.
Okay.
As well as the 10th Street address.
Okay.
So one of the criminal trespass will be merging.
Yes, criminal trespass, one will merge. All right, if all minds are clear, the plea has been accepted. Good luck to you, Mr. Penrice.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 22. Mr. King.
Your Honor, that's one where we haven't spoken to him yet. He was not brought out. So we would need to speak to him in a breakout, or if there's anything else holding him, we could put that 2 days off till day after tomorrow and speak to him in the meantime.
You want to do that, Ms. Champion? Because I think we're
What position?
22.
Right, if there's anything else holding him, it would be far more convenient simply to put him 2 days from now, 2 days from now, and we'll just see him in person.
What position again now?
Mr. King, 22.
22. This is a 2019 battery. I doubt this is what's holding him.
Mhm.
Could be wrong.
Next, Judge, I have position 37, Mr. Strozier.
And hold on, is 22 reset, Ms. Champion? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on one quick second.
Else is holding him.
Huh?
I was checking to see.
To see if
he got
anything else-
felony charges.
So he's,
Yeah.
okay. So what's that reset date?
We can reset him to next Tuesday.
It'll be next Tuesday.
That's fine. It'll be
That's
7.
June, is it 27?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this case, Mr. King will be reset to June 27th. And then Deputy, who did you tell me next? I apologize.
Not a problem, Judge. It's gonna be position 37, Strozier.
Okay. This is 16 CR 013358E, Marquise Strozier. One count of failure to obey stop sign. Offense date, April 17th, 2015. State,
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's a time serve offer of 16 days.
okay?
That's right, Your Honor. He stipulates to venue, identification, factual basis, asks the court to accept his negotiated plea.
All right. Mr. Strozier, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down for me. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions before accepting your plea. Tell me first, are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney? And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
I said yes.
All right, do you understand that by pleading guilty, that you are giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes.
And that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Correct.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
And has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be affected by the guilty plea here today?
Correct.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes.
All right, and so I understand that this is just a 16-day credit for time served plea. All right, that will conclude the plea. Good luck to you.
This is on the probation calendar, position 7 and 8.
Okay.
Mr. McNeil.
Okay. Yeah. Said which positions again, Deputy?
7 and 8. Sorry.
I don't. Are these the add-on or it's regular? I don't, 7 and 8 and it's Neil or Mr. Cruz? Oh,
McNeil is
probation.
it's a
Okay,
probation
sorry about
calendar.
that. All right, we have a couple of calendars here, so I apologize, and I kept thinking, okay, now I'm with you, 7 and 8 on probation. Okay. There we go, hey, Officer Allison again. These cases are with Mr. Eric McNeil, 20 CR 003442J and 23 PV 000630. The first one being ending in 3442J, battery, family violence, 1 count, offense date May 16, 2020. Second case ending in 00630 is a probation violation, offense date February 23rd, 2023. Miss Allison?
Yes, Mr. McNeil failed to report by mail on account of 2 times. He failed to complete domestic violence program, did not complete 40 hours of community service, and he had a revocational hearing for February 23rd, which he did not appear. He has 3 months and 12 days left. Probation recommends to revoke.
Okay.
Your Honor, Allison McNeil is on Zoom, but she's actually at work, so I don't know if she had to step away from her cell phone on Zoom, she won't be hearing me. Ask her to unmute and put on video. She may have stepped away because she is at work.
And Allison McNeil, what is her relation?
Sister.
Sister? Miss McNeil?
There we go.
Hi, good morning. Do you wish to address the court today, Ms. McNeil?
Not yet. I'm not sure.
Okay. Because if you do, I have to swear you in, but go ahead, Mr. McLean. And I didn't know if you had something you wanted to say to the court, Ms. McNeil. If you don't, you can just listen in and I won't have to swear you in. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. That's fine. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor. On November 6th, 2022, in Gastonia, North Carolina, Mr. McNeil was in a car wreck. He went through a windshield. He was taken to the hospital. He had some kind of charge in that county, and he was held in the Gastonia County. I believe the county seat of Gastonia County is the town of Gastonia. He was in the county jail, he tells me, for until December the 8th, about 1 month and 2 days later. And on December the 8th of 2022, he was transferred to Georgia to the Floyd County Jail, which is Rome, Georgia, where he dealt with his legal matters there. He states to me that he has been in continuous custody or in the hospital bed under custody since November 6th of 2022. And that is the reason why he failed to do things in December and February and May for us. I can try to get hold of any newspaper articles about this, any hospital records about his going to the hospital as a result of the car wreck on November 6, 2022 in Gastonia. I can try to get hold of Floyd County, Georgia, sheriff's records, even if I don't get hold of the North Carolina stuff, which that's probably easier to get the Rome, Georgia stuff, but that starts on December the 8th anyway, and pretty much covers this time period. So if I can prove those things to the court, I would ask the revocation not occur.
All right. Does his sister, Miss McNeil, know about that?
Ms. McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. I am aware of that.
Of the accident? I'll put you under, can you turn your camera back on?
Okay, 1 second, ma'am. I'm gonna step out of the classroom.
Okay.
I apologize, Your Honor, for interrupting. Yes, I'll ask if she's got personal knowledge, the nature of that, or Your Honor could do that either way. You said you were the passenger. Yes. Yeah. Do that windshield.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right, put your hand down and state your name for the record and your relation to the defendant.
Allison McNeil, and I am his sister.
All right, and do you reside here in Georgia?
No, ma'am, I reside in New Jersey.
Okay, and so are you aware of your brother Eric McNeil's car accident in North Carolina?
Yes, I am.
And how are you aware of that?
Through his informing me, and then I read it in the newspaper.
Oh, you read it in the newspaper?
Or an article, some type of article online.
All right, were you aware that he had been incarcerated or in jail
Oh, yes, I'm.
as a result? Okay. All right, anything else?
Throughout his incarceration, I have been giving him support monetarily and allowing phone calls. It has been very, very taxing on me and for him, I'm sure, but I am aware of his situation. And I know, I just want to say he's unable to make those classes because he never had a steady home. He's always had to reside either in different shelters or temporary housing with friends. And so that has been very challenging for him to find a steady work and housing because he's not up here in New Jersey with me.
Okay. All right, Mr. McLean, I will not revoke him. I will accept that information regarding the accident in December through, looks like through this February date.
Right, the accident was November 6th of last fall and transferred to Georgia to the different county. Floyd County was on December 8th. And we apparently, although I have not seen it in writing, I haven't looked for it. He reminds me that we can look on our own paperwork and see that we got him from Floyd County.
Okay. All right, I will not revoke him today. So we're ready to take the plea.
It's just a probation revocation today. What I'm going to do, Your Honor, is hand him a sheet which has the address of 132 Mitchell, the probation department. And as soon as he's released, he needs to go to probation and see if there's any way in the world for him to complete any of the conditions in the remaining 3 months he has. If there was an FVIP, for example, he doesn't have enough time to finish it. But if it was something else, maybe he could do that. He probably will be staying in a shelter. Oftentimes when we have a revocation proceeding and it's not revoked, the probation department needs to know where he's going to be because he's a regular probationer. But he will be probably here in Atlanta going to a shelter. Do you have one picked out? Not yet. Well, you need to commit to one right now so they know where you are. Do you know the shelter? Okay, go to Gateway. Find out where Gateway is and go to Gateway.
If he's in Gateway, that's fine. Does it have a phone number on there?
I can have him speak to our social worker with more detail, who's in the courtroom here.
Okay. Officer Allison, do you have any other information you want to provide or put in the chat?
Can we just do, he has to report to probation within 48 hours upon release?
Be right here in 48 hours. Can you do that? Okay. Here's Gateway's address. Okay. I think we're good to go. He's got Gateway's address and phone number. We here in Atlanta are familiar with Gateway, so we have that too. But,
Then it's in the same vicinity, so you can't go wrong. If you're able to get in there, you'll be in the same area to get to the probation office as well.
Mr. McNeil, within 48 hours, be at 132 Mitchell, got you during business hours. Okay. All right, I'm sure everything will work out. All right, good to meet you. All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I just want to make note that that domestic violence program, that is a 6 months course.
Right.
Is he to still complete that, start that, or,
That's a 6-month course.
yes?
Right, it's exactly
And
5.
he only has,
months
he
and-
has 3 months and 12 days left. So I just want to know how we're gonna go.
Impossible.
But we need to know how we're gonna do that, else we'll be right back here again.
Well, he can't complete that condition because it's a very structured program, and they are, as I understand it, a DVIP, or also known as FVIP, is uniform from state to state, and it's always 24 weeks. It cannot be shortened. So if Your Honor would recognize he can't complete that course, if there's some other stipulations, I don't know. Probably needs to stay out of
Good
trouble.
morning, Your Honor. Obviously, the defendant cannot complete FVIP at this point. I don't know if the court is interested in having him do a 12-week anger management course. Obviously, that does not replace FVIP, but that's better than no condition at all.
Right. Yeah, I
Right,
wouldn't want to give him no condition at all.
Right, I hesitate to stipulate to a modification because what happened was not his fault. Your Honor, you can see my position.
Well, it's not an issue of fault, but if the
Right.
class was not able to be completed, the next best thing would be anger management.
Right, he was the passenger when he went through the windshield, so now he.
Right, so it's not about fault, but I'm saying that would be the next best option since we don't have 6 months in this case.
Right.
There's 3 months, which would be 12 weeks.
So he can do
12
the
weeks of anger
12-week anger management.
But right now, he doesn't have a job, so he's gonna be the shelter. Is there a free one available, anger management available free?
You'll have to search. I don't provide classes.
No, there's not.
There's not a 12-week anger management.
I would just hate
not
to
a free one.
stipulate- I would hate to stipulate to a modification that causes a revocation a month from now when.
And unlike FVIP, anger management will not kick you out of the program. FVIP, they will kick you out of the program if you miss a class. So when he's released, he needs to find employment and do his best to complete 12 weeks of anger management.
If you do your best, you're saying. But legally, as far as the modification of requirements, Your Honor, I'm stuck in a position here where I know what he cannot do, but I'm not sure what he can do at this point.
Well, he's going to have to agree to can do and should do. Hopefully his sister, Miss McNeil, can provide some assistance to him since she's on today. And he can speak to her as soon as he gets out and make a collect call to her somehow or get in touch with his sister to get some financial assistance to get situated and do these conditions. And everybody has to do them, and everybody finds a way to do them so they don't end up back in jail, or that it's just gonna be circular and he'll come right back.
May I speak?
Yes.
Is the court able to offer some type of resource for the shelter that does have classes for anger management? Because I'm all the way in New Jersey.
No, I just wanted you to provide him with some assistance if you could, and it sounds like it may be financial assistance. Sometimes families help them to rent these hotel rooms or these other extended stay locations so that he can get back on his feet. It sounds like he needs that type of assistance, or with the shelter or some other arrangement so that he can at least complete this 12-week anger management. Otherwise, he's going to be right back here in the Fulton County Jail.
I have done that before, but that becomes costly. I can't pay a daily or weekly hotel fee. That's more than what I do for myself for vacation. But
I understand. Well, Mr. McNeil, you're gonna have to get a job, and Mr. Walker. So is it my understanding that you're willing to modify to the 12-week anger management? That's it. That's all we have left. And he needs to complete that by the end of his probation.
That's the state's position. I understand that he was in an accident at no fault of his own, but I mean, how long was he on probation prior to the accident?
Right, yeah, quite a length of time. So you're gonna have to figure this out, Mr. McNeil. And you know, as the judge, I can't offer any more assistance, and hopefully your family and friends and other people can help you. But you have the 12-week anger management course that you have to complete as soon as you get out and get started. Days are gonna be ticking, and you've got 2 days to report to probation. That'll get you right back here quickly if you don't report. So
So when is he
talk to
being
your
released?
lawyer and get some help, and hopefully social services can give you some assistance as to housing, okay?
Make your best.
All right, so if you want to plead guilty to this battery family violence, did I already take his plea?
No, he's on probation, Your Honor. This is not-
Oh, he's on probation, I'm sorry, yeah. Wrong issue. So are you gonna try to do this, Mr. McNeil?
Yes, I can do this.
Okay, and see what other assistance you can get while you're out there. See if the social services can help you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll give you one more shot.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Honor, this is ACDC.
Yes.
I have before you Miss Tracy Booker, position 3, add-on 1 and 2.
Okay. This is 21 CR 003783E, and that's Tracy Bolka, charged with 1 count of prostitution on July 22nd, 2021, and then 23 FTA 000488, failure to appear,
She's position 3 on the regular calendar.
and then 3 on the, okay. And then on the regular calendar, position 3, 23 CR 003591E, charged with 1 count of giving false information to law enforcement officer, 2nd count of simple assault. That offense date is June 4th, 2023. State?
So for the position on the add-on calendar, it's essentially a time served offer, 12 months to serve, 34 days, credit for time served of 17 days, balance suspended, with the condition of a stay away from the incident location, which is 200 Cortlandt Street. And then predicated upon that plea, we will be entering a null prize for position 2 on the add-on calendar, which is the FTA, I believe. And then our main case, which is position 3 on the primary SAP calendar, is going to be handled by Ms. Chung.
Okay. Ms. Chung, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state recommends 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance suspended, stay away from the location of the incident, which was 250 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, and a no further contact with the victim, Miss Zanaria Mutri A. First name is Z-A-N as in Nancy, A-R-I-A. Her last name is M as in Molly, O-U-T-R-I-E.
Okay. All right, is that your understanding, is it Mr. Dotis? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Me again, for add-on 1, that will be a negotiated plea. For position 3, that will likely also be a negotiated plea. Our only hangup is the stay away address. This is Ms. Boca's primary address. Ms. Mutri does not live at the incident location. So instead of the stay away, we would just request a one-time sheriff's escort to confirm that Ms. Mutri does not live at that address.
Okay, stay.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, is it Ms. Boca? Am I pronouncing it correct? Don't want to
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Bulk, are you ready to take a plea in these two cases?
Yes.
Okay, and that is my understanding. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down for me. So as to case number 21 CR 003783, you are willing today to plead to one count of prostitution, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dotis, do you so stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor, we do so stipulate to the three elements for the purpose of both pleas.
All right, good. All right, and let me ask you this, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared to agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
Has anyone told you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected by your guilty plea here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And to the charge of prostitution, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the, hold on a second. And as to the charge of giving false information to law enforcement, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of simple assault, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea on both cases and to all three charges. You understand that the conditions on the first case are to stay away from 200 Cortlandt Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the second case, again, you are to have no further contact with Ms. Moultrie.
Yes, ma'am.
And that when you get out, you need to get a law enforcement escort to go back to that location to confirm that she does not reside there. And if she does not, then you can reside there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, I will accept the plea in both cases.
Position number 6.
Okay.
And this, Your Honor, is a change of announcement. It should be a negotiated plea now.
Okay. All right, this is case number 23 CR 003593C, James Cross. Charge of one count of theft by shoplifting. Offense date is March 20th, 2023. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The state recommends 12 months to serve, 30 days, credit for time served, which is 16 days, balance prorated. Stay away from the Dollar Generals in the state of Georgia, anti-theft course, and restitution in the amount of $46.72.
Say that again, $42.72.
72 cents.
All right, is that your understanding, Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor, that's our understanding of the offer. We do stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the purpose of this plea. We would ask, if there's no objection, for Mr. Cross to switch to non-reporting status upon completion of the theft course and restitution. Mr. Cross will also be residentially challenged, and with his time in custody, he does not currently have employment. I provided him with a list of resources, but we would ask this court to waive a few months of his probation fees to allow him to pay for the class and get started on this restitution.
State have the contact information for the restitution.
Do you have the contact information for the restitution, or does the state have that, Ms. Stratford?
I do have the location of the particular Dollar General. I do not know if I have a phone number. The location of the Dollar General in particular is 2750 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway, Northwest.
Okay. And then as far as the restitution, you will pay that through probation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you ready to take your plea, Mr. Cross?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand for me. You affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and put your hand down, please. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. Do you stipulate, Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor, we do so stipulate to the three elements for the purpose of this plea.
All right, are you currently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
All right, are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
You're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Ma'am.
And that you're giving up the right to trial by judge and jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree and are prepared to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be affected by this guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full
Yes, ma'am.
understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so you understand the conditions that you're to stay away from the Dollar General store on Donald Lee Holloway,
Yes, ma'am.
and that you're to stay away from all Dollar Generals in the state of Georgia. Is that correct,
Yes,
State?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, don't even go to any Dollar Generals. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're to do an ADET, which is alcohol drug
Your Honor,
evaluation and treatment.
Your Honor, there's no ADET on this.
No ADT, okay. But there's an anti-theft course,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay. And then the restitution, $42.72. Is that correct?
Restitution is $46, Your Honor, and
Oh,
72
I'm
cents.
sorry, $46.72. All right, so you're gonna need to pay that as well, Mr. Cross. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so if you're clear about all your conditions to never go to the Dollar General stores while you're on probation, you'll be good and pay that restitution fee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And Your Honor, we would ask if he can go non-reporting and if he could have a break on a few months of probation fees to help him get back on his feet, since he's currently residentially challenged and will need to pay that through probation.
all right, I am going to allow you to go non-reporting once you have paid that restitution and completed that anti-theft class. And I will not be able to waive any of your probation fees at this time. But you can go non-reporting once you quickly complete the terms of your probation, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Position 36,
Ms. Milton, we have a lot at the jail. Can we please go next?
Okay.
Got a lot of them on the floor, so you're gonna have to hold back. Position 33 here.
And what was that position, 30?
Position 33, Mr.
30. Okay, 33. Is that Brandon Spear?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003569H. Brandon Spear, charged with 1 count of reckless conduct. Offense date June 4th, 2023. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation in this case is 12 months to serve, 60 days. Credit for time served, 17 days. Balance probated with the condition of a behavioral health evaluation and any necessary treatment. No further contact with the 2 victims, Pablo, and I will spell his last name, Lonenaon. And there's a second victim by the name of, I will spell his first name, which is Kuan, last name Henderson.
Okay. Anything else?
You know, on the calendar, it has Spear as a singular as opposed to a plural. Colloquially speaking, his name is spelled with an S at the end of Spears.
Okay, so it has an S. Is it that way in the system?
No, ma'am.
It's not even correct in the system. Okay. We will, I think, do we get that corrected or does he do that?
That's how it was filed down by the solicitor, so if it was gonna be corrected, the solicitor will have to correct it.
All right, Mr. Walker, it was filed down by the solicitor in that regard, so.
I'm sorry, Miss, what were we discussing? The misspelling of whose name?
Position 33, Mr. Spear, his name is Spears with an S. So you all would have to correct it on your side from your office.
Okay. That's fine, Your Honor. Understood.
All right, thank you. All right, are you ready to take your plea, Mr. Spears? All right. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, I can barely hear you. Put your hand down. Okay. And so, Mr. McLean, do you stipulate?
We do.
All right. And let me ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Spears. The first being, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Absolutely.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And that you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes.
And that you are giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty? Has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty? And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected by the guilty plea today?
Yes.
Do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes.
All right, and so you do understand the conditions again. You have to get the VHET, which is a behavioral health evaluation and treatment, and follow the plan if they recommend. And you to have no further contact with the 2 victims listed.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Position 34 and 35 on the add-on count.
Hold on, Duffy, can I get Ms. McLeod in a breakout session for position number 31 and 32?
Okay,
What courtroom will it be?
This is 4 North.
Thank you.
all right, and this is position
34 and 35,
34 and 35, okay?
add-on calendar, I believe.
Now,
Mr.
those are
Spellers,
the regular calendar, huh?
He is position 4 on the add-on
Oh,
as well. So he had 3 cases in total.
Right, I think that the add-on is more or less consistent with what Mr. Spellers and I discussed as to the non-add-on cases. The additional third charge, Mr. Spellers, remember the case was reset in order to put on the calendar that other case that wasn't on before. Do you recall that? So the new case, we might need a breakout. The new case involves $231.75 of restitution. That would be a requirement of the probation.
And then I also have an additional update. We did hear back from the victim who is on the line. I can sound for her. Her name is Melissa Sconiers. She advised that there was an outstanding balance in position 35. That's the incident where he busted out her window. It was $500 to be replaced. So the state will be asking for $500 restitution in position 34 as well.
So
I'm sorry, position 35, that is.
he might need to add, might need to discuss that with me. I think there is another case holding him as opposed to this, so that Mr. Spellers, if you want to discuss these details with me, which I would recommend that we actually do, I could have you in court day after tomorrow and come visit you in the jail during regular visitation hours tomorrow and show you all this in writing. I was hoping he would be in the courtroom with me with a little session where I could lay it out to him, Your Honor, but because he's on Zoom, I think it might be best. Mr. Spellers?
Yes, sir.
If I ask the court to reset this to day after tomorrow, there's no harm to you in terms of
Will be reset to next
the number
Tuesday.
of
we
days.
set the next Tuesday.
Well, same thing.
Okay.
Mr. Spellers,
Not tomorrow.
Mr. Spellers, you have a quizzical look on your face. Do you understand why it needs to be reset?
To be honest, sir, it's kind of hard to hear you because they got an ice machine and a air conditioning unit blowing hard. So it's kind of hard to see, but I would just like to really get done with the process today, but if it has to be rescheduled, fine for us, sir.
Right. This other case is an allegation from December the 3rd of 2022. And how do you pronounce the last name of the alleged victim? Sconiers or
Sconiers.
This meeting is being recorded.
And she's on the line, and I don't know if she would like to address the court, but I would like the court to at least sound for her if she would like to address the court.
That Melissa Sconiers. Well, if we're not taking the plea, or what are we doing? I don't need her to address me if we're not going forward. So what are we doing, Mr. McLean? We're not going forward, we're resetting, or?
Well, I would prefer to thoroughly discuss the new case with him in jail. So I would prefer to reset the case.
Okay, so we'll reset the cases to June 27th.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, I just
June
need to make,
27th.
I just
And
need to make
Miss,
sure he understands everything. That's fine.
Right. The victim on the line, Melissa, and I forgot the last name, so I apologize. We will reset these cases to 6/27. So can you come back on that day? We appreciate your time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll reset them to June 27th. We'll sign back on that day. Or you can get in contact with someone at the solicitor's office, a victim witness advocate, to fill you in, okay? Okay, all right, thank you.
Position 31, 32, Ms. McLeod, client.
Okay. This is Mr. Pinkney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Ms. McLeod here? Where is she?
Saw her briefly, but I'm not sure if I still see.
Judge, she's in the breakout.
Okay.
Oh,
We're done with the breakout session. He's sitting right here.
Yeah.
did she sign out?
This guy's from Mr. House.
Ms. McLeod,
Cortez, that's a
are you able to kick her out of the breakout room and bump her back over to you?
Cortez,
Giving you a lot of power as my Zoom master.
Judge, if she's not on, can we go to the next case?
She's signing on now, Judge.
There she is. She's coming. All right, there you go, Ms. McLeod. We lost you for a minute. I'm blaming that on my Zoom master.
That's why with so many people.
All right, this is 23 CR 0020448Y, Curtis Pinkney, charged of 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property, offense date October 18, 2022. Second case is 22 CR 0013338Y, charged of 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and that offense date is December 27, 2021. Are we pleading guilty to both cases, in both cases?
No, Your Honor, my client is not going to plead guilty. He still wants to be placed on a jury trial calendar. The issue is, Your Honor, there seems to be an FTA that is holding Mr. Pinkney in jail. He has bonds on his other cases, and he would like to bond out of jail so he can properly address these cases while he's on the outside. But there is an FTA which apparently is holding him there, Your Honor, and we'd like the court to look at that.
Okay. State, do you have the information as well?
Yes, 1 second, Your Honor. I'm pulling it up. I see right now as we speak.
All right.
Yes, so in the second case, the defendant FTA'd on August 31st of 2022. It was a jury trial calendar in front of Judge Edie. It's typically the court's practice to reset this back to the judge who issued the bench warrant, which is Judge Edie, the division judge. And I'll ask that we do this in this case as we would in any other case.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then the other case, the criminal, well, you would send everything, correct?
Correct, because I think he only FTA'd in one of the cases.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, we would ask that it be put on the earliest available calendar since he's been in jail for some time.
That will be up to his litigation manager on.
Right, as my litigation manager stated, it will be up to Judge Edie's litigation manager as to when they reschedule it. We'll put further notice.
I'm gonna contact Ms. Lucas today, Your Honor.
Okay.
And just for some additional information, he has an open felony case with no bond, so that's another reason why he's been sitting.
My understanding was that the judge modified the bond in that case and gave him a
I'm
bond.
just showing on the Odyssey Jelling screen, I'm seeing 2 different felony cases, and they all say no bond. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 different charges. Actually, no, I take that back. He has many charges, and he's wanted out of 2 different counties. So I mean, he's not going anywhere. He has about 10 to 12 charges, and he has 2 holds, one from Douglas and then one from Clayton.
Okay.
Well, he's still entitled to a speedy trial here in Fulton County, Your Honor. So I'm gonna ask that they put him on trial because he's been sitting in jail for some time.
All right, thank you. We'll reset 31 and 32. Or send them back to Judge Edie. Who do we have next, deputies?
May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The probation calendar, positions 3 and 4, Mr. Beck.
And Your Honor, while we're waiting for probation to hop on, I do want to note that Miss Leah Rosenberg is on the Zoom for her DV bench warrant calendar at 11.
All right, say that again. Mr. McLean, what were you stating?
Your Honor, that was me. I was stating just to let it be known that Ms. Rosenberg was on time for her DV bench warrant calendar appearance at 11, but I do know we need to get through courtroom 2 first.
Okay.
Are we holding on the probation officer?
I'm right here. Probation's
She's
on.
here. Officer Allison is here. So we can go ahead and take positions 1 and 2.
It's 3 and 4, I think.
I mean, 3 and 4.
3 and 4, Mr. Beck.
Sorry, Mr. Beck. All right, we'll do those real quick. Mr. Beck, you're charged in 22 CR 0052551A with theft by shoplifting, second charge of criminal trespass, and a third charge of willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. The offense date is August 6, 2022. We have a second case, 23 PV 000629, probation violation. That offense date is May the 9th, 2023. Probation.
Yes, Mr. Beck owes $120 in probation fees, $27 to the victim funds. He has not completed 90 hours of community service. He missed a revocational hearing on May 9th of 2023, and he did not complete a shoplifting course. He has 2 months and 14 days left. Probation is recommended for time served.
All right, state.
It's gonna be Mr. Dotis.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dotis. I apologize.
It's McLean. No objection.
And I apologize, Mr. McLean.
No problem. No objection. We agree with that. We appreciate that recommendation.
All right, so credit for time served, he will not be revoked, but get those conditions completed and payments made. All right, Mr. Beck. Okay.
I think, were they gonna recommend, Officer Allison, were y'all recommending a closing of the case though?
Yes, time served and closing of the case.
Yeah, they were recommending just closing the case out at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Position 6, probation, Mr.
Brett Hampton, Renard Hampton, that's you. Okay. 17 CR 005170B, charge of 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is May 26, 2016. And is this going to, let's see, oh, Officer Allison?
Yes. He did not report on account of 4 times. He did not complete domestic violence course, and he missed a prior revocational hearing on August 17th of 2022. He has 5 months and 24 days left. Probation is recommended to revoke.
Okay. And you represented by PD Judd?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I did go and speak with Mr. Renard Hampton. He explains that the reason for missing those probation meetings and hearings is he was aware that his fines were suspended as far as probation goes. And I guess for that reason, he believed it to be non-reports. There was an issue with him getting any sort of notice of when his probation was supposed to be. Apparently 14 Lyndhurst Drive is a valid address where he can get mail, but it is not where he's currently residing. So I believe whoever is staying there wasn't providing him the information that was coming in the mail. Your Honor, Mr. Hampton is currently mandated by Cobb County to be released to check in as soon as he's released with We Are Living Proof Rehab. I've spoken with his case manager there, Miss Christy Ann. Miss Christy Ann said that he is able to complete anger management. At this point in time, he is unable to complete FVIP because of the amount of time that's left. However, Your Honor, he could at least start with FVIP. He could enroll and start on the class. I understand that there's not enough time to actually make sure he finishes, but it would be plenty of time to do a vast majority of that class.
Well, I'm concerned about him completing it and the majority of it. State, do you have any suggestion or any recommendation?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what type of course was it?
Position 6 is another one with not enough time to.
How much is the balance?
The balance is 5 months and 24 days.
I would recommend another 12-week anger management course.
All right.
And Your Honor, that is something he'd be able to do either with or at least at the same time as We Are Living Proof Rehab, according to his case manager, Ms. Christiane. That's something that they can help him with.
Okay. That would be good. What do you think, Officer Allison?
That sounds good. You just do report to probation within 48 hours upon release.
And Your Honor, since he will be at a live-in rehab facility, we ask that he be allowed to check in by phone. I don't believe he'll have a way to actually physically check in with probation.
Did you hear that, Officer Allison?
Yes, we'll just need a phone number for him. We don't have one on file. We only have email and address. And as stated, he's not at that address, so.
So can you provide that updated information, PD Judd, so that they will be able to coordinate all that? If I don't revoke him, otherwise I would revoke him, but they're gonna allow the 12-week anger management, and he's gonna call in from that facility, and they need to understand that he's gonna need to get to a phone to call in.
Yes, Your Honor. I may need a breakout room with Mr. Hampton in order to get that address and phone number, but I can absolutely get that for the court.
Okay. All right, we'll give you another chance, Mr. Hampton. Don't disappoint us, okay?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Position 15 and 16, Mr. Hill. Are they done with this case?
Right, this is positions 15 and 16, Rodney Hill, 23 CR 003631D, charged with 1 count of driving without a valid license, the 2nd count, driving possession of an open alcohol container, offense date June 6, 2023, and then 23 CR 003633D, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of simple battery, family violence. Offense date June 1st, 2023. Are these both going to be pleas?
Your Honor, position 15, case ending in 3631D will be a negotiated plea. Position 16, ending in 3633D will be a plea of not guilty and will be waiving arraignment, and I will send that waiver as soon as I leave the courtroom.
Okay. All right, on position 16, not guilty plea, waiver of arraignment. And he's formally been charged, and the case will be further noticed for trial by the division judge. And then position 15, I can take the negotiated plea on that case. State, what do you have?
Okay, Your Honor, for that case, the state recommends time served for the 15 days he's been in.
All right. And no other conditions, okay?
And defense does stipulate to the factual basis of any ID for the purpose of this plea.
All right, Mr. Hill, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask you a series of questions in order to accept your guilty plea. And do you stipulate, Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First question being, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No.
All right. Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes.
All right. And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes.
That you're giving up or waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes.
And that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer? And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
Has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected by the guilty plea here today?
Yes.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes.
All right, and so as to the charge of driving without a valid license, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To charge of driving, possession of open alcohol container, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea on both. You have a time served plea, 15 days. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll put everything straightened out July.
On that DV bench, we do have her waiting. Ms. Rosenberg. When can we do that?
That is ready, Your Honor.
Judge, this is gonna be position 21, Mr. King.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Do you want to do that real quick, Mr. Walker?
That's fine. It's up to you, Your Honor. The state is prepared for either matter.
Okay. All right. Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes, Your Honor.
thank you for your patience. This is case number 23 CR 001662J. Leah Rosenberg charged with one count of battery family violence. The offense date is March 17, 2023. State.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Rosenberg is currently out on a $3,000 pretrial release bond. It looks like she did FTA on May 10th of this year in front of Judge Besson. I understand that she has put in a change of address form, but it's the state's position that it's the defendant's responsibility to update their address prior to FTA, especially if they're out on a pretrial release bond. The state asks that the bench warrant not be set aside.
And Your Honor, I will be representing Ms. Rosenberg, and she does qualify for the services of the public defender.
Okay. What is your response, Mr. Jodis?
Thank you, Your Honor. After being released on pretrial release, Ms. Rosenberg did check herself into Black Bear Lodge, which is an inpatient treatment facility where she did reside from March 29th to May 1st. Upon release, and you will note if it needs to be noted on the address change slip, she did recognize that she needed additional help getting back acclimated to society. She's currently residing at Second Chance Sober Living. I do have an in-person address for that. With getting back on her feet, she was more concerned with finding stable housing and making sure that she was doing everything necessary to transition from full inpatient treatment to a sober living facility. In that time, she did forget to update her address. She admits to that, but she has updated her address. She did appear today, and she is clear that in the future, she does make sure that it's her. She does need to make sure that and understands that it is her responsibility to update her address as needed. And I've also told her that in addition to that, she does need to check in by calling the courthouse every couple of weeks, just to make sure that any court dates are noted. Her address on file is currently what she provided is a PO box with Second Chance Sober Living. I hope that works for the court. That's what Second Chance, they collect the mail to PO box and then deliver it to the residents. Hopefully that's acceptable to the court. I do have her actual in-person residence, but it's my understanding that her mail would not be delivered to that address, but we do have an address on where she will be physically located. I can try to reach out to Second Chance in the future to see if we do need to modify that with an in-person residence. But Ms. Rosenberg is doing everything she needs to do. While she hasn't been able to find employment yet, she's currently applying with Publix to help her get back on her feet. And as stated previously, she is clear on what's required of her in the future. She does understand that the case isn't being resolved and that she will have future court dates. So we would just ask this court to set it aside.
All right, let me check with my litigation manager. Is a PO box sufficient? Do we know for sure?
Last that I knew of, the clerk's office did not accept PO boxes for addresses, because if she was to fail to appear again, we wouldn't be able to go pick her up at a PO box.
Right, yeah, it has to be a street address or location. And I don't know if she has an address of someone else to use, but I do understand that, you know, she probably cannot get mail at the facility that she's in.
Right.
I see her shaking her head. Does she have another address where she can receive mail?
I would ask Ms. Rosenberg, you did give me that address, that Roswell Road address. Do you think we could send mail there? Or do I need to speak with Second Chance about other arrangements?
That's my apartment address, that one. So that is a physical address. But the PO box is where I get all my mail. So I do get my mail there, but my brother's address is one I could possibly leave where he could get all my mail as well.
Well, he would just, for our purposes, be getting your court notices, which inform him they're very important. So do not hold them. Get them to you as soon as he can, but we would need that location just to mail the court notices, and we'll put in the records, you know, that you may or may not be at that location. Because with an FTA warrant, we have to have a location to come pick you up at if we do that. So as soon as you are released and get another apartment or, a stable location for you, again, you are to immediately update that with the court, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. And when I went down to state court and updated my address, I did give both. I gave my personal residence plus that PO box. So they put both in the system. So they did know that I did have,
Yes, as well, okay.
yes. So they had both of them to know, where my residence was as well, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Ms.
All right.
Rosenberg, if you could just text me your brother's address, that would be good for any court notices. I'll provide that with the litigation manager.
Absolutely.
Okay, if you could just, yeah, whenever you get it.
What we also do as well is we tell defendants to just check with the clerk or making sure with the dockets, excuse me, and the calendars that you check it, once a month or every couple of weeks just to see if there's an update on your case or a court date, so that you can be proactive as well. And make sure wherever you're getting your mail that they are, promptly giving it to you, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I won't revoke you. We'll give you another shot as well. And good luck to you, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. All right. All right, who do we have next? I'm sorry, position 21. I think.
Mr. King? Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is Jeremy King.
Yes, Your Honor. This is Mr. King.
Okay, 23 CR 003634J. Charge of one count of driving, hit and run, and a duty of driver to stop and or return to the scene of an accident. And the second charge of driving following too close, April the 11th, 2021. Is that offense state?
Yes, it's April 11, 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry, I may have read that wrong. Go ahead.
Yes, the state is recommending, Your Honor, 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance on probation, complete a defensive driving course, and do not drive without a valid license.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dotis?
That's our understanding of the offer. We would ask this court to accept it, and we do stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the purpose of this plea.
All right, Mr. King, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions before accepting your plea. And tell me first, are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected or revoked by this guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, I do.
All right, and so as to the charge of driving, hit and run, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the charge of driving following too close, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, and you heard your conditions, you're to complete a defensive driving course. Most of those are online, and you're not to drive unless you have a valid license. And I did not hear any information, or did I, on restitution?
I don't believe there's restitution at this point, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, and so as long as you're clear on that, I will accept your plea and good luck to you.
And Your Honor, we would request for my client to switch to non-reporting status upon completion of the defensive driving class.
All right, you can go non-reporting once you complete the course. And remember, no driving unless you have a valid driver's license from DDS. So make sure of that. Okay.
Next, I have positions 18 and 19, Mr. James.
Okay. This is Mr. excuse me, Richard James. These are both negotiated pleas, or a negotiated plea, I'm sorry. 22 CR 002309F, charge of 1 count of criminal trespass. Offense date April 16, 2022. And then on the second case of 23 FTA 000485F, FTA, no process plea. 9/26/2022. State?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is recommending time served and to stay away from the location. And that location is 315 Lucas Street, I'm sorry, 315 St. Lucas Court.
How much time?
How much time?
To stay away?
Time served plea. What's the time served? How many
I'm
days?
sorry, 21 days as of the 14th, so today will be 27 days, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Dotis?
Your Honor, 1 second, if I can just confirm the jail time.
Okay.
Actually, that sounds right to me, but I'm not sure where I put it. Yes, okay, yes, Your Honor, that jail time is fine. This will be a negotiated plea. We do stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID.
Okay. Mr. James, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Gonna ask you a series of questions. The first one being, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
I can hear you.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you, are you rather satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone told you you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be affected by your guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's a charge of criminal trespass. How do you plead?
Yes.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea and you are to stay away from that location. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Judge, I do have a quick announcement. For position 38, Mr. Taylor, he has a private attorney, but I'm not sure if they're on the Zoom. From what I was told, they're supposed to be in trial.
Okay. Do we have do we have private counsel on the line for Mr. Taylor?
I think that we received an email saying hold for their announcement that they were.
Oh, that's the one, right, that we're holding.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, did we get an email yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
The email was from attorney.
Snyder, Mary Beth Snyder with William Scott Smith.
Right, Mary Beth Snyder with William Scott Smith. Was she on early?
I'm not quite sure.
She was on earlier for.
Right, and said she had to go to Douglas, but she was in
Dunn.
another county and wanted a reset, didn't she?
Right, but that was for position,
Yeah, that was for a different position, but
yeah,
I
that
don't
was for
know
a different position.
if she knew about this case.
I checked this case. Is there an entry that's been filed on position for Taylor?
What position are we on?
There's no.
Yeah.
What position is this again?
This is 38, but this morning she came on.
Okay, yeah, there's no,
There's no entry.
entry on position.
Your Honor, if I may clarify.
Oh, we don't have an entry on 38.
So who is the private?
But I don't know if she's the private attorney or not.
Actually, no, I was thinking we was talking about that case. This
Oh.
case, Shaquan Taylor has no entry file at this time.
There's no entry file? Or did you get a message from someone?
I think
No, I went to interview him in the jail. He's in the jail on a felony charge.
Mhm.
His felony lawyer is listed with an email and a phone number. That attorney is on trial. This is in the jail charge that was added during the pendency of the felony representation. So we reached out to that attorney to see if he wanted to move on, but he can't today because he's on trial. As soon as he's not on trial, I'm sure he and his client will talk about whether this misdemeanor case will be added to the representation.
Okay. All right, we'll reset it to June 27th.
Okay.
We'll reset it to June 27th so we can hear from council.
Okay, thank you, Judge. And we're
Thank you.
completed here in courtroom 2. Ms. Milton is all yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Before you is position 36, Amanda Driver.
36, I can barely hear you.
Position 36, Stivers.
All right, 23 CR 003637F, Amanda Stivers, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Offense date June 1st, 2023. Is this going to be a plea?
It's a plea, Your Honor. It's 1 count of obstruction, and it's rather simple in that it's going to be 15 days time served.
All right, state.
yes, Your Honor, state's recommendation is a 15-day time serve offer.
All right, and looks like that's been accepted. Do you all stipulate, Mr. McLean?
We do, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Stivers, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, put your hand down for me. Going to ask you a series of questions in order to accept your guilty plea. And the first one being, are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
All right, and are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up or waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you understand that you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you understand that you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you freely give up those rights today?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Has anyone told you you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be revoked by pleading guilty today?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And so as to the charge of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right, we will accept your guilty plea. And it's a time served, no conditions, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome.
Next, we have position 39,
39.
Ms. Thomas.
Okay. All right, this is 20 CR 001-885, Victoria Thomas, charge of 1 count of battery. The offense date is 2/26/2020. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 102 days, credit for time served, 51 days. Balance probated with an 8-week anger management course, no further contact with the victim, whose name is Monica Rucker, and a stay away. And that address is 20 Broad Street.
Okay. All right, is that your understanding, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, do you so stipulate?
We do.
All right, Miss Thomas, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury? Okay, speak up a little louder for me. You can put your hand down.
Yes.
Okay, and so I'm going to ask you a series of questions in order to accept your guilty plea. The first being, are you in the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time? I'm sorry?
No.
Okay, and are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes.
And has anyone told you that you'll receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked because of the guilty plea here today?
Yes.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes.
All right, so it's to the charge of battery. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I will accept your guilty plea. And remember, you have quite a few conditions here. And again, that's the 8-week anger management, no further contact with the victim in this case, and to stay away from 20 Broad Street. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Your Honor, so far as contact information for JCS goes, I have a unit number, which I will add to the good address. There was a return to sender, but it didn't have a unit number. So I will, on the contact sheet, put in the apartment number or unit number for that 1940 address. And I believe the 9360 in Odyssey is the good phone number. Other than that, there won't be an emergency contact.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, who do we have next?
Okay, Your Honor, this is Miss Corey Adolph. I do not know her position number. And then for the other young lady, Miss Dixon, position 10, she is talking to Miss McLeod right now.
Okay.
And then when you finish, hopefully Miss McLeod might be able to log on.
Okay, Ms. Adolph, looks like she's probation revocation positions 1 and 2. All right, this is 23 PV 000631. That is 1 count of probation violation from April 26, 2023. The second case is 20 CR 00417E, where Ms. Adolph is charged with 1 count of battery in a public transit vehicle or station, and that offense date is May 7th, 2020. Officer Allison?
Yes, Your Honor. She failed to report to for, on account of 5 times, missed the revocational hearing for April 26, 2023, and she did not complete 6 weeks of anger management. Probation is recommended to continue on probation, but with the terms of 2 weeks, have 2 weeks to enroll into classes and to report to probation within 48 hours upon release.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Davis, what say you?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask this court to accept probation's recommendation. I spoke with Ms. Adolph yesterday. She knows what's expected of her. She is clear that she has 48 hours to report and 2 weeks to enroll in the classes. I did send resource sheets to ACDC, so I did tell Ms. Adolph to make sure she gets one so that she has the correct contact information, and she's clear that if there are any issues to call them directly. So we just asked for the recommendation to be accepted.
Okay, that's fine. So we will allow Ms. Adolph to continue on probation. I won't revoke you today, but you have to report to probation within 48 hours of release, 2 days. And you will have 2 weeks to enroll in that 6-week anger management course. You gotta do it, or else you'll end up right back here, okay? I'm gonna give you another chance. All right? All right, anything else? And so on the battery charge and the public transportation, she'll just continue on with that? Or what are we doing with that case?
Your Honor, that she'll just be continuing on with that. I believe for the probation violation charge, that's just the charge that's automatically created.
Right, because it'll come up with, okay, gotcha. I was eager to say, wait, we're taking a plea, and then I just realized this is my probation revocation calendar, so, all right. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Adolph.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Your Honor, Ms. McLeod hopefully should be logging on soon
Okay,
for position 10.
all right. Ms. Dixon? Is this Ms. Dixon?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
She's represented by Ms. McLeod.
Yes, and Ms. McLeod is on.
There we go. Okay. This is 23 CR 0036660E. Terencia Dixon, charge of 1 count of reckless conduct. Offense date is March the 20th, 2023. State.
Yes, Your Honor.
Will she be taking a plea?
Yes,
Is she
that,
taking a plea?
that is what I was gonna ask, Your Honor.
Oh, Ms. McLeod, you're on mute. I'm sorry. Still muted. There you
Yes,
go.
Your Honor, she's going to take a plea.
Okay, thank you. All right,
All
go
right.
ahead, Ms. Stafford.
Yes, Your Honor. State recommends 12 months to serve 90 days. Following any DFACS recommendations, if there are some, and 45 hours of community service.
How many days she's getting credit for?
How many days is she getting?
Um,
90 days it appears, Your Honor.
90 days.
So it's 12 months served, 90 days credit for time served, 90 days?
Yes.
And Your Honor, we would ask if her probation could be terminated once she completes the 45 hours of community service. She does have 4 minor children, very minor. The oldest is 9 years old, that she is taking care of.
I will allow her probation to terminate upon completion of the community service. And so now, anything else you ready, Ms. Dixon, to take your plea?
Yes, ma'am. Before I take the plea, I have a question, if I may address the court.
Okay.
The last time that I was here, which was March 22nd, when I went to court, they reinstated my signature bond for the child cruise in the 3rd degree, but it didn't show up because they gave me a no bond for discharge. I was wondering, could the court address that, please?
Well, Ms. Dixon, this is going to address your case in its entirety. If you enter a plea, the state's offer is 12 months to serve 90 days, credit for time served 90 days, the balance on probation, so you can do 45 hours of community service.
Oh, okay, so it's for both charges? I was confused.
Okay.
That was standing. But let's find out from the state. That was my understanding, but let's find out.
Yes, Your Honor. So the recommendation is for the reckless conduct, the cruelty against to children charge. That was actually bound over to the DA's office, but I believe they are not going to pursue that one. So that would mean that based off just discharge, whatever other pending issues would be resolved.
Okay.
So it will be, this would be the end of that, except for the probation, correct? And the 45 hours of community service. Just want to make sure.
Yes, for this particular case, the incidents that occurred in March, yes, this would be the end of that.
No, that's not what I'm speaking to. I was on a signature bond that was turned in, and then she reinstated it and gave me a no bond. So I had child cruelty in the 1st degree and child cruelty in the 3rd degree, but it wasn't documented correctly.
I don't know if that's in state court or superior court.
On her booking sheet, I do show a cruelty to children in 3rd degree.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is another charge on her booking sheet, cruelty in the 3rd. And you said it was bound over the DA's office, but it's not showing that?
Well, I was under the impression that, this would be a plea which would allow her to get out of jail. But it sounds like there's another case holding her that I was not aware of.
It's not another case, it's just a charge that's showing up. So once the jail go to process her out, that might flag, and because it doesn't have a disposition on that charge.
Right, there's no disposition on that charge that would hold her up from getting out.
I mean, if Mr. Walker wanted to look into it.
Sir, what
Yeah,
position is this?
Walker.
What position is this?
Position number
10.
10.
Okay,
Dixon.
I'll look at.
Okay, let's let him look real quick.
Hey, I need you guys to pay attention to the phones. When they get off the phone, make sure you guys go to the phones, okay? Everybody, make sure you pay attention to the phones. All right, yeah. Stick with right.
So the cruelty to children, prior to this case being transferred to our office, it was declined for prosecution by the DA's office. So I don't know if the necessary paperwork was not done in Superior Court, but obviously that would be outside of our jurisdiction because it's a felony charge. But according to the paperwork, it was a decline to prosecute on that charge.
Okay,
I can check with. I can call Mr. Jordan because I think we've encountered this before.
okay.
And he had the answer. So
Is he still, he's not on, or is he on?
No, he's not.
He's not on. Okay.
nah, if I can have a moment, I can call him. I just spoke to him a few
Okay.
weeks ago about another matter.
Mr. Walker, just one moment. He's up here with me. I'll let him know you're trying to contact him.
Thank you.
I never did. I got out work, bought them some groceries, and we had a dispute in 15 minutes.
Okay, I just spoke with Mr. Jordan, so that's a separate felony matter that she has originating from 9/2 of 2021.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that-
2021.
Yeah, that's a separate case.
That's a separate case. So that's going to hold her.
That's my understanding. Yes, Your Honor.
They had I was out on pretrial and they reinstated. It's just they didn't, because she gave me a no bond on this particular charge, it didn't show up as she put me back as on pretrial. for
Hold
that
on a second.
charge.
I want you to talk to your attorney. And she can maybe explain to you better. And we normally don't, discuss them on the open Zoom with that. It's something you need to discuss with Ms. McLeod so she can explain it to you, but that is gonna hold you in, if you're out on some other bonds, you get new charges, then it revokes the old one. So I can tell you that just in short. But do you want to have a second to talk to Ms. McLeod about it before you enter this plea or not?
I would just like to answer the plea.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. McLeod, what say you?
Your Honor, she has indicated that she does want to take the plea on. And
Okay.
it sounds like the issue that she has, the state is not going to go forward with that. I think I can contact the state to see if they will just file a dismissal.
Okay,
So
all
I
right.
just want to clarify, she had 2 cruelty to children in the first. She had one on this case that they dismissed, but then she had another one linked to a separate felony matter.
It was cruelty to children.
Right, so that was a separate felony. That was a separate felony matter. So the one attached to this case has been dismissed, but the one that's holding her is a separate matter completely, and there's other charges along with that. I think it's like an aggravated assault and some other charges, which is completely separate from this.
So you're saying she has a fully fledged separate other case?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's the Superior Court.
I think I need to speak to her because obviously she has another case and she has no bond on that. She's not going to get out.
That would be correct.
So I would like the opportunity to just explain to her how that impacts her. And Your Honor, I also have SAP on Thursday.
Have a what on Thursday?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You said you have a what on Thursday?
I will be doing the SAP calendar on Thursday as well.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I will have clients on that one. So I will be
No, but I
present.
don't know if we can add on. We've been doing the 27th as opposed to Thursday. Ms. Champion, what would you like to move this later to Thursday or the 27th? Because I think that calendar is full. Ms. McLeod, let's see.
Because it's already an add-on that's been, but we can try to put on that add-on and send it back out.
There's already an add-on that's been sent out, so she's gonna
we
try to
can-
add her and send it back out. So one additional add-on for Thursday. Okay. So that's June the 22nd.
Second.
Thank you. June
And then
20.
Ms. Attorney McLeod, you check the chat. The clerk's office has added some additional context that maybe.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. And so does Ms. McLeod know that, or Ms. McLeod gonna get that information?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You see, have you checked the chat, Miss?
Yes, I see it now, Your Honor.
Okay, I
Well,
see
she
it to
certainly is not
everyone.
in a position to post that kind of bond.
Right. Okay, and then see what pretrial did. So yes, I think you need to talk to your attorney, Ms. Dixon, and she will. And we're gonna move your case to Thursday, okay? All
Thank you, Your
right.
Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I will be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
I'll be bringing back Mr. Patrick Simpson and Randy Williams.
Okay, thank you.
Position 6. Mr. James Williams.
My apologies. What position is this?
I know, that's not six.
It's not
Say the last name again.
Williams?
Williams.
Williams.
That's 40 and 41.
Now, you know a W can't be that high up. I'm gonna just tease you.
Did we not know? James Williams.
James Williams, he's 40.
41.
This is Mr. Kelbaugh's client. I think he said he.
Oh, that's right. Is he back yet?
Mr. Cowboy is not back.
He's not back yet. He was up in Richardson, I think.
Yeah, he had 11 o'clock hearing with Judge Richardson.
So he's not back yet. We'll hold a little bit. You have anyone else?
That's it for 5 North.
Oh, that's it for 5 North?
Yes.
My Zoom master, Miss Grace.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mr. Jordan busy? You know, we pull on him so terribly all the time. Is he busy?
Let me check for you, Judge.
Okay. You still there?
Yes, I'm here.
I was gonna ask him to email or call up to Richardson to see if Mr. Kelbaugh is still up there, or if he can step away to do his case real quick. Since I think he only has this one client on this calendar, I believe.
Yes, will do. I know he came back earlier, so I guess he had to
Did
sign
he?
back
Yeah,
off.
and it
Yes.
weren't. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't see him because I would have tried to see if I could have skipped to him.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna see if we can grab Mr. Kelbaugh quickly to do his case.
I think we still have position 42. We know where.
And Mr. Randy Williams, position 42, he's at ACDC, so I believe.
Is that one of the ones she's going to get? Okay.
Judge,
Yes,
I was able to reach him. He's gonna log on right now.
okay.
Okay, thanks.
Judge Mincy,
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Sorry about that. We didn't want to commandeer you or send the sheriffs to get you, but I said, see if we can catch them. I know
Thank you
you're
for reaching
juggling
out to
and
me.
doing- Yeah, thank you. We're trying to move efficiently, but I said, let's see if we can catch them. All right, your case is, let me turn back, number 40, James Williams,
40 and 41.
40 and 41. He has two cases.
It's the FTA on 40.
Oh, FTA on 40, and then 41 is the main case,
The battery charge.
battery charge.
Your Honor, I did not clarify with the state, but I had assumed that they will be dismissing the FTA if we enter the negotiated plea on the battery. Is that
Right.
a fair assumption?
Right, that's what it says. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have James Williams, 23 FTA 000481 dismissal if we have a guilty plea on 21 CR 002119Y, one count of battery, offense date 2/23/2021. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Yes, the state's recommendation in this case is 12 months to serve, 131 days. Credit for time served, 131 days. Balance probated with the conditions of an FDIP course. No further contact with the victim, whose name is Shonda Beasley, and a stay away from the incident. Location 3620 Donald Lee Parkway.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Kelbaum?
That is my only small dispute is I believe that he has credit for 160 days. I think the 130 days is based on his incarceration to like in this stretch, but he had been incarcerated for 30 days when he was originally arrested on this charge.
Oh, let's see. I dare not do math.
I mean, there's no objection. We want to change it to 160 credit for one time. I mean, credit for time served, 160.
Okay.
Um,
All right, Mr. Williams, I understand you wish to plead guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and in order to accept your guilty plea, Mr. Kelbar, do you stipulate?
Your Honor, I stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and identification.
All right, and Mr. Williams, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down for me. I'm going to ask you a series of questions to make sure your plea is free and voluntarily. The first question being, are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, ma'am.
And that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
That you're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared and agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone told you you receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation may be revoked as a result of a guilty plea here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with a full understanding of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and how do you plead to the charge of battery family violence?
Guilty.
All right, and so you understand that you have your balance probated credit for time served, but you have to take the FVIP or the Family Violence Prevention Program, and I believe it's 24 weeks. You have no further contact with the victim, and you just stay away from that incident location. Do you understand all those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, be careful. You need to complete that course. It's long, and if you miss, you can't start over. So get that done. I will agree to suspend your reporting once you have completed the FVIP to get that done pretty quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That will conclude that case. Is that it for you, Mr. Kilbaugh?
That's my only case, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor.
No problem.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Sitting before you is Mr. Randy Williams,
All right.
and after that is Patrick Simpson.
Okay. This is 17 CR 25118E. Randy Earl Williams charged with 1 count of battery family violence. That offense date is October the 26th, 2017. He's represented by you, Mr. Dodas.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is this a negotiated plea?
We would ask the negotiated plea to go forward, but we would request for Mr. Williams to enter a plea of nolo contender if there's no objection from the court after looking it over.
All right, state.
Since they are requesting a nolo, if I could have pretrial read the history first, please.
All right, pretrial.
One moment here. You said this is Randy Williams, right?
42.
Right, number 42, yes.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Huh? You're not gonna wait on me? Some of these names.
Okay. Your defendant has 4 arrest cycles out of Georgia, beginning in 2015. He does have a let's see, misdemeanor conviction out of Harris County for DUI, possession and use of drug-related objects, and a possession of cocaine. Disposition date on that was October of 2016. He received first offender treatment on that case. The case was sealed October of 2018. And last arrest was actually, let's see, it appears for an FTA, April 27th, 2023, out of Fulton County. And defendant has 1 arrest cycle out of North Carolina. Let's see, looks like that arrest date was September of 2017. It appears that case was dismissed. So it was for, it looks like conspiracy to sell, deliver, schedule for controlled substance, conspired, sell, deliver heroin, and possession of methamphetamine, but the case was dismissed August of 2018. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
Your Honor, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1483 Arthur Langford Place. They met with the victim, Ms. Sade Campbell. She advised that the defendant came to her home, began to bang on the door. She asked him to leave. He refused to leave. He continued to become irate. He eventually kicked in the door, ran into her home, ransacked her home, and then grabbed the victim by her neck. She was able to escape and call for help. The officer did observe lacerations on the victim's neck. Based upon that, we are objecting to the NOLO. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 110 days, credit for time served, 55 days, balance probated with the conditions of FFIP, no further contact with the victim, Ms. Sade Campbell, and to stay away from 1483 Arthur Langford Place.
All right. Mr. Dotis.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we heard from pretrial, Mr. Williams only has 4 arrests. His only conviction was a misdemeanor conviction back in 2016 for DUI and a few drug charges. This case occurred in 2017. I haven't heard any charges past 2017, past October of 2017, either nonviolent or violent related. So we would ask this court, since he has not used a NOLO plea in the past 5 years, to allow Mr. Williams to enter that plea.
I'm concerned about the allegations in the case. But I guess he has a right to use his NOLO plea.
At the discretion of the court.
Yes, at the discretion of the court, that is correct. And he has a little bit of history, so I am really, really concerned about the facts and the allegations.
Yes, sir. I understand. Again, this occurred in October of 2017, so 5.5 years from now, or ago. Mr. Williams has not had any contact with the alleged victims, and he will be residing in Savannah, Georgia. So he's clear on all that.
And when counsel says this happens 5.5 years ago, I don't think if someone FTAs, they could use the fact that they FTA to their benefit at sentencing. Yes, this case is old, but it's old for a reason. It's not old because we didn't prosecute. It's old because the defendant has FTA'd and didn't come to court. And we obviously can't prosecute individuals who don't come to court.
You can pick up the phone. Take it off the speaker too, Jackson.
All right, I am going to deny the NOLO plea and ask for a straight guilty plea. So what would you like to do, Mr. Williams, or what would you like to do, Mr. Dotis?
Yes, Your Honor. We discussed all possibilities. My understanding is that Mr. Williams would like to continue with the negotiated plea of guilty, but I'll let Mr. Williams confirm that.
Okay. And so Mr. Williams, do you wish to still plead guilty today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And if you do, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and the first being, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And again, to the charge of battery, how do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
All right. And let me ask you, Mr. Jodas, do you stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor, we do stipulate to the three elements for the purpose of this plea.
All right. Are you presently under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the services and representation of your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up and waiving the right to the presumption of innocence?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're giving up and waiving the right to remain silent and not testify against yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're giving up and waiving the right to trial by judge or jury, whichever you prefer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're prepared to agree to waive these rights today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone told you that you will receive a lesser sentence for pleading guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation, your probation could be revoked because of this guilty plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with the full understanding of the charge against
Yes, Your Honor.
you? All right, and so again, it's the charge of battery. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, and so you understand that you have some conditions here. Your balance of your probation will be probated while you are completing the FVIP course, which is a 24-week course. And once you start, you have to complete it. If you stop, you have to start all over. You'd have no further contact with the victim and to stay away from that Arthur Langford Place address. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, and I'll accept your plea, and those are your conditions.
And Your Honor, we would request if Mr. Williams could be placed on non-reporting status upon completion of the FVIP program.
All right, once he completes the FVIP, he can go non-reporting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you. All right, who else do we have?
Your Honor, Your Honor,
Yes.
I have a question, please.
Who's talking?
My name is Alicia Glass. I'm Curtis Pinckney's mother.
Hold on a second. I can't talk to you till I can see you.
Oh, how do I do it?
Turn on your camera and video.
Okay. So I click start. Okay, here I am.
Yes, and you're whose
Okay.
mother?
I'm Curtis Pinckney's mother.
The case that we heard.
Yes, with Miss
earlier?
McLeod. Miss McLeod.
Yes, we're finished with that case.
Okay.
What is your question?
I was just in court with him. Remember, I came to court with him about a week or two ago. He
I'll
had
be
got
honest, I
slashed in
don't
the face and
remember.
attacked in jail, and the DA, I think it was the DA, the ladies had given him the $1,500 bond for those felonies. And
I don't remember,
put
and I
him on
don't do
house arrest.
felonies. Hold on a second. I don't do felonies. This is not the felony court. This is the misdemeanor court for state court. So you didn't talk to me. It could have been a different judge because I wouldn't have handled any felony case.
Okay, then it could have been the misdemeanor, but it was for sure you, and he had been attacked and stabbed in the face where he had the 30 stitches. They gave him a $1,500 bond, and his court-appointed attorney was Mr. Cho, but that bond is not showing.
Hold
It's
on
no
one
longer
second.
showing.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna mute my. Okay, I'm not for sure what your question is, but I can tell you that that was not me. I don't remember having anyone that had gotten hurt in the face, and if you know, I just may not remember, but what is your question today?
They had given him a bun for that, and when I called the bail bond, they weren't showing the bun. So I was just trying to see why the bun was retracted, if so. But and I've tried to contact Mr. Cho, and he hasn't been responding either.
Who is Mr. Cho?
I think he's a felony.
That was
public
his court
defender.
appointed attorney,
I
Eric
think he
Cho.
practices. He
And
practices in
again, I
Superior
keep
Court.
letting you know, this is felony, and this is misdemeanor court. And so those are not people that I recognize who work in this court. So
Okay.
kind of contacted the wrong court. You need to check
Okay.
with the Superior Court and check with the DA's office, because I believe, again, all of those are felonies over there, and I would have no knowledge or ability to help you with any of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, you're
Thank you.
welcome. Uh-huh. All right, where are we? Mr. Walker and Miss Allison. Who do we have in front of us? I have totally forgotten.
Before you, Ronna, is Mr. Patrick Simpson.
Thank you.
That's on probation.
He's number 9 on probation.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, this is 19 CR 003260B. Patrick Simpson, you're charged with 7 charges. Do I have state? Obscured or missing license plate, possession of open alcohol container, expired tag or unregistered vehicle, failure to have license on person, giving false information to law enforcement officers, driving while license suspended or revoked, and 7 is DUI unless safe, all with the offense date of April the 2nd, 2019. What are we? Go ahead, Officer Allison.
Yes, Mr. Simpson did not report 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He did not complete 170 hours of community service and did not complete the risk reduction course. He has 45 days left on probation. Probation is recommended for time served.
Okay. All right, Mr. Judd.
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Simpson, so it is a case where I'm gonna mirror your earlier sentiments. I became a lawyer to not have to do math, but my math works out a little differently in that if jail time is only counted 1 for 1, he actually only has 19 days left on his sentence. If it's counted 2 for 1, he's actually past time on his sentence and his case should be closed out. But since the offer is for time served, close the case out, we don't have any objections to that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I will accept the time served. Not revoking. I will let you all do the math on how many days he has left. What say you, Miss Allison?
I have 19, 5. That'll be 7 days left after time served.
And say that again? So you agree or?
I agree. We could do a
Okay.
time served closed case.
Okay, time served, closed case. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. That'll do it. Good luck to you, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you.
All right, yes.
Thank
So
you.
everything I can go on today?
Soon as they release you and process you to get out, it may be within the next 24 hours.
Thank you very much, and you all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Your Honor. That
Probation be
completes my.
excused.
Yes. All right. Everybody can be excused.
All
All
right. You all have a great day.
right.
Have
you
a
too.
good one.
All right.
Bye, Your Honor.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, Mr. McLean looks comfortable there. Do we have anybody left? I think we're done.
We have 4 more cases.
Oh, we have 4 more cases,
Not 4, 3 more cases.
3 more. Ms. Champion's finding cases for us. What do we have left?
Position 4 and 5, which is Giovanni Charlie. Position 20, which is Luke Kareem. And position 24, which is Derek Mosley.
Any dates or information on the 4 cases we have left?
Yes, Your Honor. I think those might be possible resets for varying reasons if we want to go through the calendar and address as we go through.
Okay,
We can go.
we can do that. That'll be great.
Position number 1, reset further notice defendant was released. Position number 2 was a plea. Position number 3 was a plea. Position 4 and 5, Giovanni Charlie.
And for Mr. Charlie, we'd request a 1-week reset. I wasn't able to interview Mr. Charlie yesterday, and I'd request some additional time to make sure we're going over his case.
Okay, position 4 and 5 will be reset to June 27th, SAP. Position number 6 was a plea. Position 7, 8, and 9 is going to be reset further notice jail jury. Position number 10 is going to be put on the add-on SAP for Thursday, 6/22. Position number 11 is reset SAP 6/27. That's 11, 12, and 13, reset SAP 6/27. Position number 14 will be reset further notice jail jury. Position number 15 was a plea. Position number 16, reset further notice jail jury. Position number 17, reset further notice defendant was released. Position number 18 was a plea. Position 19 was a non-cross. Position 20, Malik Kareem.
Mr. Kareem is currently a loan to Cobb County. He was not brought over today. If we could just reset him a week out, this case isn't what's holding him, but we want to make sure we can address it.
Okay, Mr. Kareem will be reset to June 27th, SAP. Position number 21 was a plea. Position 22, reset SAP 6/27. Position 23 was a plea. Position 24, Derek Mosley.
Yeah. We possibly need to just send that over to the competency calendar. We've never met him. He always refuses to come to the visitation booth. We have asked the deputy sheriffs to make sure, and they assure us that he is physically healthy. Even though we've never met him, we're just concerned that somebody's got an eye on him.
Okay.
You want, okay, Mr. McLean, are you gonna submit an order for the eval or?
Never having met him, I suppose I'll submit an order, or we'll talk with
Because
Howard.
you stated to put them on the competency calendar. We're gonna put them on the competency calendar for what?
We'll fill out whatever paperwork is necessary because we're going on secondhand information from the deputies. We've never laid eyes on it. So,
I suggest we recommend that eval, correct?
that's all we can
Because,
do.
I mean, can you just place it there? I don't think, no. She can't just put it there. If we have a recommendation for an eval, maybe that person can at least lay eyes on them and find out what's going on.
They'd have to somehow go back inside the jail. Somebody would have
To do the eval recommendation?
Yes.
Somebody, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll talk with Mr. Howard about that, but we do need to make some movement on it.
Right. Ask Mr. Howard, if you get me the eval, I'll sign that order so we can at least find out, get somebody to talk to him.
Sure. I just want to
And then
follow.
we'll place him on the calendar that we can.
Okay, so today, what are we resetting Mr. Mosley to?
6/27 to find out whether we've got an eval by then.
Right.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So Mr. Mosley will be reset to the SAP 627 with possible eval, MH eval.
Okay.
Position 25, reset further notice defendant was released. Position 26 was a plea. Position 27 and 28 was a plea. 29 was a null cross. 30 was a null cross. 31, 32 was reset further notice jail jury. 33 was a plea. 34, 35 reset SAP 627. 36 was a plea. 37 was a plea. 38 reset SAP 627. 39 was a plea. 40 was a null cross. 41 was a plea. 42 was a plea. 43 was a plea. And on position number 1 was a plea. Position number 2 was a null cross. Position number 3 is going to be reset SAP competency 629. Position number 4 is reset SAP 627. And the DB case, the bench warrant was set aside.
All right, anything else? I think we are done, Mr. Walker. Good to see
Thank
you again. All right, we need anything else?
That's it.
Oh. All right, thank you. Take care.
You too, bye-bye.
Bye.